This little building is a big step for the Lighthouse. It's the moment the tower can finally stand on its own.
Yes! My postman decided to leave the package outside this morning and it rained on it, so thankfully they're waterproof buttons, eh?
Freshly baked.
This is our little door. This is our little handle so our lightkeeper can get in and out.
For some reason. I've been so tempted to press the button off camera.
Our buttons arrived. Brilliant. Okay, let's get to seeing if it fits in our junction box. I put in the little grommet, this little fella here. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be, I thought it wouldn't be great, but it wasn't bad. Let's see if the button fits in the hole for the button. Okay, let's have a look. They're nice looking buttons, aren't they? Very nice. Kind of like fancy elevator buttons. I'll leave a link for them in the description, but yeah, I like them. Let's try and see if they fit into the hole. There's no point in trying the rubber washer or the nut until we know that it actually fits in here. It might not. This might not be perfectly round. That's okay. What we can do is get a little file and make it perfectly round if it's not. But oh, let's try it. Yes. Oh, that's lovely. What do you think? I like it. I think that's very tidy. I'm glad we made it as big as we did. Look, it's just about fitting in wires with the heat shrink on them. But yeah, that's worked out really nice. I'm happy with that. My postman decided to leave the package outside this morning and it rained on it, so thankfully they're waterproof buttons, eh? That looks good. Yes. It has a button. Love it. Okay. And now we're ready to put the bottom on. Lovely.
Just out of the 3D printer now. Lovely. Freshly baked. Here we've got the electronics room for the Lighthouse. Got the windows, our little circuit, test print for the floor. So let's see if all this goes together. First thing I want to check is the fit of these windows. Now, as I said before, what we're going to do is we're going to make a tiny bead of glue around this lip here. However, that window is now nicely glued in. Okay, let's do that another 2 times. Great. Great. A little bit of squeeze out. I am not bothered about that in the slightest little bit. If anything, that's a good thing. Because that squeeze out is going to seal that right up for us. So, great. The windows are in. Let's do the battery. Actually, yeah, let's do the door first. This is our little door. This is our little handle so our lightkeeper can get in and out. So yeah, there's the door in, and there's the windows in. Lovely. The bottom is printing off. Now I've made a few changes to the threaded insert holes. I'll get those threaded inserts in, and then we'll try the circuits on the floor, get it all together, and get the roof done. Cool. Now we're going to try and see if
the circuits fit onto the board, and if they do, we can put everything together. Brilliant. I made one of these a couple of days ago, and I made a very silly mistake. So the way that you measure the center of these holes when you're designing it yourself is you measure the inside of one hole and the inside of the other, and then you add the diameter of one of the holes, and that will give you center on center. I did this the other day and I used half the diameter of the hole for some reason. And it meant that everything was, yeah, completely sideways then when I tried to put it together. But thankfully this time I could see without even putting in the machine screws. Thankfully this time we are lined up. Brilliant. You wouldn't mind when I went to go check on the model, I went to check the drawing that I'd done, and I went through it kind of mental arithmetic, and even then I thought the same thing. Oh yeah, half the diameter, and it was like, no, Jamie, it's so yeah, that wasn't very bright of me, but look, we got there in the end. Brilliant. Let's get the solar circuit on. The one thing I find with these solar circuits, I don't know if you've ever made anything kind of, or if you've bought outdoor solar lights, you notice that after a while when they're out in the rain, you know, they claim to have like 8 functions or whatever, and normally after a while, once they've been outdoors for a while, they just start to change function by themselves, and I've always found that really annoying. I don't really want my lights to be flashing outside, so with this one had 3 modes if you include off, which it does, but well, okay, I don't really see that as a mode, but anyway, it has 3 modes technically including off. But what I did with this was, the modes are resistors, so this is the weakest resistor, that's the stronger resistor. So I just soldered the button onto the weakest resistor, and that way it only has on and off, which is exactly what I want. So let's get the battery into the model, and then we can get this in and hooked up. So let's hook the pieces up that we can hook up for now. So this here goes there. Great, that's lovely. This goes in here. And then these parts are the battery, lighthouse, the switch, and the solar panel. So let's get the battery in. This wants to be that way. Lovely. Whoa! Okay, now that the battery's in, we can hook the battery up to our circuit. I think what we should do first though is hook these up, right? This is what I mean, right? So that's the male and female connectors. So that means that connecting them here, we can't really connect them into the wrong input or output, which is exactly what I want, because it's way too easy to hook things up the wrong way. That is the lighthouse hooked up. Brilliant. Last thing we need to hook up now is the battery. There's the battery in. Now we'll get the wires. I just need the smallest bit of grab with these because the heat inserts are still in plastic, so there we have it. Okay, now we're ready to put the roof on. Brilliant. here we got our next collection of parts to put on. Here's our roofs. You can see I've done a little tile pattern here. I did this too on Seamus's cottage, but the thing is, on Seamus's cottage, the roof was made from plywood, so I actually used a marking gauge to mark out the tiles, which, to be fair, was a bit of an ordeal, but it worked really nicely. I'll show you a picture of it on screen, but you can see here it's got a really nice tile pattern. This is our roof. This is the one for the electronics room. So printed this off as a different part. It's going to glue right there, and then we get it onto the model itself. Right, let's get a little bit of glue on here. Make sure I have the right side, which I do. Always good to do a little sanity check before we go gluing. Let's get this little gable on. There we go. Give it a little bit of a wiggle to spread the glue out. And make sure it's sat in fully and properly. That's it. Lovely. Okay. Get a little ridge cap on. I made these little black ridge caps. And I know the black ridge cap is quite different to the grey. And it is on purpose. And you'll see why shortly. In the next episode, we're going to be building a house, and the house is going to have dormer windows. So the dormer windows are going to have fronts on them. I'll show you a picture. I've done it in the streetscape that I've mentioned a couple of times. But the black really is a beautiful contrast. You'll see in a moment. There you go. Beautiful. Now, this is where I'm going to go and stick on some gloves because I'm going to use the UV resin. Remember I said I'd put some around here just to stop any water from going in there. I see I'm not worried. The UV resin, if it's exposed to sunlight too long, it yellows and it becomes brittle. But this here is going to be underneath a roof. So don't need to worry about it. I'm going to go stick some gloves on and then we'll get some UV resin on there. I can cure it with the UV light. Alright. I'm happy. Let's get these roofs on. Right, let's pop this little fella on. Great. There's one little roof. You can see I have a ridge cap for that roof too. I'm holding on to do that one till I have the main roof on because I want them to fit together properly. So let's get the glue on this guy on too. Lovely. Okay, let's put on our last roof ridge. I'm going to use Great. There's just one more thing I want to add. This is just for me. So I designed this little guy. Little anchor. So I put a teeny little drop of glue onto this guy. Little loop. And then let's get that onto the model right there. Just like that. I've been so tempted to press the button off camera, but I've been really good. I thought, no, don't do it. Don't press the button. Just hang on. Because this should be the first time that we can press the button on the model itself and it's going to act like the model. It's not going to have an off-board circuit. It's not going to have any breadboard or anything like that. It's going to have everything for the model is going to be in the model from an electronics perspective. So let's put the glue away, and we're gonna press the button, see if it works. Let's do it. All right. Let's press the button, see if it all works. Yes! Yes! Brilliant! Now everything is internal. Join me in the next episode where we'll start to build a house.